Hello and welcome to Boomer Live once again, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are to talk about Pakistan versus Bangladesh rather. And Bangladesh have won the toss and they've decided to bat first on a drier-looking Kolkata pitch. And to add to that, for Bangladesh right now, they have made a change that is Tawhid Hridoy comes in for Mehdi, and Pakistan have made three changes leading into this game. So some big news coming out from the toss and from the conditions today would we have an offer, but a big game for Pakistan to at least have a glimmer of hope to stay alive in this tournament. And for Bangladesh, of course, there is a Champions Trophy spot which is up for the catch, and they have to really play well. So they will know that there's no game which they can take lightly and call it dead rubber, saying they've been out of the World Cup and they have nothing to lose. As Shakib Al rightly mentioned in the toss, and Babar Azam was very clear that they have made three changes in consideration to their combination right now. So Imamullah goes out of the team, Shadab Khan goes out of the team, Mohammad Nawaz goes out of the team. There's Salman Agha, there's Usama Mir, and Fakhr Zaman comes into the team as well. So these are three changes which they've made for Pakistan, and obviously for Bangladesh just one change. I have Jaren with me. Jaren, a big day for both the teams, especially if you look just in terms of a glimmer of hope for Pakistan and context of qualifying for Champions Trophy for Bangladesh.
Yeah, I mean, as absurd as the timing of that decision by, or not even, I think the reveal of that decision by ICC, to say that World Cups spots are going to decide the Champions Trophy decisions as well. I think for Pakistan, I still think for Pakistan, the Champions Trophy is not an issue because they are hosting it. So that is not a problem for them. I think they are automatically going to get qualified. But obviously, a lot of points to prove for Pakistan, and things are not right with them between the players and the board. A lot of waves being made within the board and from also rumored conversations that has been done with the players as well. So I think in many ways the changes we have seen today could be sign of things to come. Uh, Especially the likes of Imam, Shadab, Mohammad Nawaz. I think these guys have gotten a lot of opportunities before, so it could be signs of what the management is thinking. But at the same time, it could also just mean the fact that now we're going to try the players whom we haven't given
Yeah,
opportunity to. But it
yeah,
is surprise. It isn't. I think these names are no coincidence, right? These are names that everyone has been talking about and could be signs, as I rightly mentioned. And I mean, as I mentioned, and if you look at Bangladesh as well, I think a lot more worry there for them because they wouldn't want to miss out an ICC, event, and it's something as big as the Champions Trophy. I know the one-day format is still is at a questionable position right now in terms of whether it's going to get continued or what about its future. But as long as the Champions Trophy is happening, every nation would want to be part of it. So a lot to play for because of the decision. Although you would have really liked the decision to, or the reveal of the decision being made to have come out a lot earlier, so the teams could have prepared for it.
absolutely. Good point there, especially when it comes to the qualification process. But let's just talk about today's game. And for Pakistan, the last four games haven't been any pleasant for them. But the last 2 points they got was way back earlier in the month of October, where they defeated Sri Lanka by doing the record chase. But since then, it's been just landslide for them for Pakistan. And if you look at Bangladesh as well, after the Afghanistan game, they have also not had anything to be happy about or joy about. They've had some good performance in sparks, individual performance, but nothing as a team to really talk about. And for Shakib Al Hasan especially, he's had a horrific World Cup so far, both with the bat and ball. He's not really stepped up. How important it is from a Pakistan perspective when it comes to their main players coming and chipping in, because they're bowling first now, slightly different. They'd want to go out there, maybe pick up some early wickets, make them feel a lot better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think today's wicket isn't also what Pakistan really prefers. It's going to be a lot more drier. From what we know, and what Shane Watson has said at the start of the pitch report is that compared to the previous match, a lot of the grass has been removed, which means I think spinners will come into play. So Bangladesh will feel a lot more confident, especially given the fact that they won the toss now. It's the kind of wicket they love, right? Drier wickets,
Yeah.
bat first, and then put pressure on the team. So until and unless dew comes in the evenings, Pakistan will feel a little hard done with the toss. And now the fact that their bowling has really been brought into question. Shine Shah Afridi seems to have, still recovered, but it just feels like there's no one to support him, especially with the spinners. And today again, you need your spinners to come back in. And now I know you've gone, you've probably asked Shadab Khan to step out. But that also means that now Usman Mir has to continue from where he left off against South Africa and he has to prove that it was no fluke. And especially against Bangladesh, where these batters, you would probably say that they are batters who have grown up facing quality spin as compared to
Yeah,
that of South Africa. And if you also look at the fact that now they have an Agha Salman and Iftikhar Ahmed and or a Saud Shakil really forming that second spinner or the third spinner. So that means the fact that Usman Mir is going to be a number one spinner is going to be an interesting fact. And also
yeah.
then really need to see if you had some support in Chennai when it came to the bounce, the pace of the wicket. Today you might not get that much pace off the wicket, so the question now remains: will Haris Rauf and Mohammad Wasim repeat the same feat that they did against South Africa?
Absolutely, that's a good one because at least now for Harris or Mohammad Wasim will have a big game to play today. And you rightly
Yeah.
mentioned about the surface. From what we have seen in Indian Gardens for games which teams bat second in one day internationals, it's always a tough ground to chase in one day internationals. Let's just keep IPL and T20s aside. At least in one day internationals, in the last 1 or 2 decades, I mean, there's not been a lot of one days in Eden Gardens in the recent past. The only thing what we can get is the IPL stats. But just talk about one day internationals, it's always come to the notice that teams have struggled chasing under lights. I think Bangladesh was the Netherlands game is another example of how it can get slightly more trickier under lights than what it is up front under normal conditions because the ball tends to move around quite a lot. We've also seen that in the pink ball test matches in Eden Gardens, how the ball does do quite a lot during the twilight period. And I think that's going to be a major factor for Pakistan to tackle. If you look at Bangladesh, their seamers have been quite impressive in this World Cup, though not so impressive. You can say by saying that, yeah, they've not really taken everything, but their spinners have been the disappointment and their batters have been the biggest letdown. So for Bangladesh, at least, they'll really hope their spinners and also the pacers make inroads up front when they're coming on the ball later on.
Yeah, I mean, also if you think about it, it has become considerably tougher to bat in Eden Gardens. When it comes to, uh, regardless if you're batting first or you're batting second, it's become a lot tougher. I think since 2014, the average score has really dropped down. Although to be really frank, 2014, you saw some high scoring matches in Eden Gardens, but since then it has really come down. But having said that, you have to say that in many ways, your off spinners and your basically your fast off spinners are going to get that little bit of advantage, especially if it's a slower wicket, right? You've seen that when it comes to quicker wickets, bouncier wickets, leg spinners are a lot better off. But if it's going to be a slower wicket and the ball turns a lot slower off the pitch, you're going to see the likes of Bangladesh really enjoy this pitch because they've got the kind of finger spinners. I think that's a better word to utilize here. The kind of
Yeah,
finger spinners in their team, you would say that they will be a lot more confident. The likes of Shakib Al Hasan himself or even Mehdi Hassan Miraz. You know that these lads love bowling, a lot quicker and a little bit of turn is enough for them to surprise batters.
yeah,
But I think even their fast bowlers, right? I think especially Shoriful Islam and Taskin Ahmed, if there's a
yeah,
little bit of help later down in the evening, they'll be able to utilize that. They've gotten a lot better with the new ball,
yeah,
and especially Shoriful Islam is a weapon for Shakib Al Hasan when it comes to new ball. So
absolutely.
that's going to be interesting how they deal with it, especially of Fakhar Zaman. He struggled against moving ball, so interesting to see
Yeah.
how he goes about it.
Absolutely. I think it's about time we talk about Pakistan cricket at this point. I mean, just not about what they're going to be doing it on the field, but the atmosphere outside the team has been just shambolic. You couldn't have asked for any more worse atmosphere for a team to go into a World Cup and to play the World Cup. The media, the board, the selectors, the management, everything is in disarray at this point of stage in Pakistan cricket. And for that team right now to really pull themselves up in the field, how hard is it going to be? Because we often speak about the fact that Pakistan often comes hard when they are pushed against the wall. But then right now, your own captain is thrown under the bus. He has no confidence. Your bunch of players are thrown under the bus for conflict of interest. Your selector is questioned. He had to resign last evening. So everything is not good in Pakistan, and they're just pulling up for a match. How would Pakistan respond in such a situation? It could be either a Pakistan who comes out fighting, or a Pakistan who would be completely done and dusted.
I think there's a lot about this team that I think you can blame this team as well. How much can you expect the players to endure? After all, at the end of the day, especially I think at least maybe in the 1990s, 2000s, you would say that what people are talking at their homes or what people their private opinions, it always stayed hidden from the players. Maybe when it all came to a head, you would have seen riots in India or even in Pakistan at that point in time. But aside from that, it's not like players are exposed every day to the kind of opinions that come out. But if you see in today's day and age, I think it's become that much more tougher. And if you really look at it, right, since 2018, if you look at, I think since 2018, if you
Yeah,
look at it, they've had, so many already, so many changes in the chairman. I think they've had five changes in the chairman since 2018. It's hardly been 5 years, and that's what really worries. At this point in time, so many changes in the team. Every single time there's a new regime that comes in Pakistan, a new political regime that comes in Pakistan, you see a change in the PCB, and that is going to affect the team, right? And that's not even the saddest part. Able, it would have been okay if the team had, if there had been a certain set of changes when it comes to the regime, but that shouldn't affect the team, because at the end of the day, that the kind of decisions they make, it shouldn't directly affect the team. But now what's happening is that that regime comes in, they decide to change the coach, put in their own friends. It's become at this point in time a party cricket board. It's like, I want to have my friends and I'm going to have party and I'm going to invite my friends on. So if you're not my friend, you're out of the team or you're out of the committee, and that's
yeah,
really, really a bad place to be, because as a captain, you're not sure if you're going to stay in there
yeah.
for longer than your regime, and that's absurd.
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, that's a good point because it's also a clash of egos in that board right now, isn't it? A previous chairman has done something, you want to come in and change it all overnight and say that I can do better. And that's not really helping the team as well in the long run. I have Sandeep with me. Welcome, Sandeep on the show. Let's talk about Bangladesh on the other end of things to start off with. Such a big name in the world cricket for the last 8 years. Won multiple times at the bilateral series. Came to Champions Trophy semi-final, and you can say that best suited format is the 50 over format. But yet, you can about the last World Cup because it was in alien conditions for them, for their spinners not to really come good. And we also have mentioned about the transition to take place very soon. But you expect a better out of this Bangladesh team in terms of the fight they could have shown in this World Cup at least, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, because Bangladesh have performed well in subcontinent conditions over the years. They have a strong spin lineup led by Shakib Al Hassan. But I feel that they haven't really come to the party because once again, I think you'll have to blame the role clarities as well. For example, Muhammadullah coming in at number 8, on some instances coming in at 7, 6, 5. They don't have the role clarity among the seniors, and the team is sort of going through a transition. Apart from the 3 or 4 players that have been playing over the World Cup for the fourth or fifth edition this time around, there have been some players who are playing it for the first time, and so for them to make the adjustment, it's taking some time. And also, if you see over the last 2 3 years, Bangladesh have improved drastically in their pace bowling department. The likes of Shoriful Islam, Taskin Ahmed, then say Mustafizur Rahman, they are the more dominant side in terms of with the ball, that is. And you have a Mehdi Hassan Miraj and a Shakib Al Hassan playing second fiddle to them, and they are more of a defensive options rather than wicket taking options. So I think gone is the phase where Bangladesh really used to like choke the opposition with the spinners and look to pick up wickets. Right now, I think they are more the job they are performing is more of a defensive bowlers, whereas the pace bowler look to make the early inroads, and they are depending on the pacers to give them the breakthroughs, and that template has not been working for Bangladesh in recent times. That is why you see a lot of teams, they have managed to pick up early wickets sometimes in the power play, but the team tend to go away in the middle overs. There is no control in the middle overs, and also the batting has been a big disappointment. You have a Tanzid Hassan and a Liton Das opening the batting. They provided a good start against India, but that's about it. Apart from that game, if you see Bangladesh's opening stand, it hasn't gone long. Tend to lose early wickets, and then the lack of role clarity in terms of the batters really comes into the fore. You have a Mehdi Hassan Miraj batting all over the place. You have a Nazmul Hassan Shanto, who is supposed to be a top order batter, who is coming down the order at say a 4 or 5. You have the likes of Shakib Al Hassan and Mushfiqur Rahim coming too late down the batting order. Bangladesh were really successful with the bat in 2019 World Cup. Number one, conditions. Number two, Shakib Al Hasan and Mushfiqur Rahim. They were playing a more pivotal role in the batting lineup, coming in at number three, number four. In the 2020 in the 2015 World Cup where they reached the quarterfinals, Mohammedullah was coming in at number four. Shakib Al Hasan was taking more responsibilities with the bat. But now, if you look into this batting lineup, you have a Mushfiqur Rahim coming in at number six, Mohammedullah coming in at seven, Shakib coming in at number five. I think they're batting two positions down than what they should bat at. And Mehdi Hassan Miraz, I understand for one game if you want to implement him right at the top. But right now, I think Bangladesh has that batting power to sort of give him the number seven or number eight position and ask him to play his own game and not really push him up at the top of the order and ask him to stabilize the innings. I think that is the
Yeah.
job of your senior players like Shakib, Mushfiqur, and Mohammedullah. And I think that is where they have gone completely wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a good point because you just have to pick up some players and say why they have not done well. You can't really find a reason because they all have quality players. Jared, Kapil also has mentioned a point here saying after England, the biggest disappointment is Bangladesh. But doesn't really even things out in today's game because Bangladesh, confidence wise, they're very low. Pakistan, with all that outside noise, what's how they're coming into this game, they're also not in the best of state. So, does it even things out just for this game?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, you would have to say that I still expect Pakistan to win it today, because they are, at least on paper, you would say, the kind of players they've got, they are the better team, at least on paper. And I know the conditions are favoring Bangladesh, and that's one thing that Bangladesh knows what to do is how to utilize the conditions once it is in their favor. But having said that, you still expect them to win, considering the fact that there could be due there. I think it depends also on a lot of things, how the situation, I mean, how the weather is there at Eden Gardens, and a lot of those situations. But even then, I think Pakistan should be able to win it. And if they don't, then I think I'll just correct what Kapil Verma says. If Pakistan lose today, then I think it is for sure that Pakistan is the second biggest disappointment after England.
Yeah, definitely. And that's going
But
to be
I also
even worse.
feel that Bangladesh will have a lot of fans or supporters today because Eden Gardens is the closest that they could come to home,
Yeah.
geographically as well. So I feel that the pressure on Pakistan is going to be much more because, first of all, they haven't lost four games on the trot any time in the World Cup in the history of 48 years. This is the first time they did that. And also, all the noise surrounding the say this resignation of the chief selector to the pressure on the captain, everything is going to come in and haunt them. And honestly, I don't think Bangladesh has anything to lose. They are coming from five consecutive defeats, and after the defeat against Netherlands, I don't think that they can go further down. There is any downward spiral for them to really succumb to. So I think it's only upwards from here from Bangladesh, and they should play a fearless brand of cricket. And I think if they can play that aggressive, fearless brand of cricket and put up a good score on the board, I think this Pakistan team will be under extreme pressure.
Yeah, that's a good point because Pakistan as well, they know the moment Bangladesh goes in excess of 280, 270, the pressure is going to be transferred to Pakistan, isn't it? Then for Bangladesh, what could be an ideal score? Looking at the conditions, you can say 280, 270 could be a great score in Eden Gardens because all this stuff, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago, as to how hard it is to chase under lights in Eden Gardens, you would want a good start from Liton Das and Tanzim Hassan again today. And to add to that, you would want your biggest experienced guys to come to play today, like of Shakib, likes of Mushfiqur today, Mahmudullah. If these guys can come alongside the youngsters chip in here and there, I think then they can score a 270, 280 on this deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Shakib is yet to turn out into this World Cup with his bat, and the
Yeah.
kind of player Shakib is, right? I mean, most teams, when you are an all-rounder of Shakib's caliber, you would say that if he does well with the ball or if he does well with the bat, it's fine. Either of it is fine. But the kind of player Shakib is for this Bangladesh team, he's just as much an integral batter as he's a bowler, and either of it going wrong almost always means Bangladesh does badly in a tournament or badly in a match. And for Bangladesh, biggest worry has been that Shakib is not been that glue that holds together that Bangladesh batting lineup. Today is the day that you want him to, because you feel like he can be that player, especially in conditions that are on offer today. I think this is exactly the kind of conditions that Shakib enjoys. There's not a lot of movement off the pitch. You would expect the fast bowlers to do not a lot of damage. Only damage that they probably will do is in the first 5-6 overs, or
Yeah.
otherwise through sheer pace that the Pakistani bowlers still have. And Aside from that, you want him to do well. Also, I think Mohammedullah has done well, but then he really hasn't found support, and he comes so low down the order that if the team hasn't set up the stage for him, then yeah, that then it really hurts him. And then I think the biggest and the number one suspect batter has been Mushfiqur Rahim. He's gotten starts that it's still not converted it. You need these three guys to hold that team together. And
Absolutely.
aside from that, I think I still understand that Tanzil Hassan is playing his first World Cup. Understandably so. Najmul Hussain Shanto again. You know that he's still a player who's 30, 40, not more than that. You haven't really seen him take the world by storm. Litton Das again, I think he's done well in patches. So I think these are the three guys you can trust. That is Shakib, Mushfiqur, and Mohammedullah. These three
Yeah.
lads, if they play well, I think a 270, 280 is definitely on the cards.
Absolutely. But Sandipani, let's talk about this team as well. When it comes to dew factor, I know you are very close to the conditions there. Do you reckon at this point of time in Kolkata there are a lot of chance of dew, or do you expect the conditions to be dry and same in the second innings as well?
Honestly, I don't think there will be much dew towards the later end of the game as well. There is obviously some dew coming in, setting in after say 8:30 or 9. But we saw what happened to Bangladesh in the game against Netherlands last time around. So I don't feel that dew factor is going to be a factor in today's game. And also that is why I think it was an important toss for Bangladesh to win. You guys are saying 270, 280 will be a good total. I feel even if they can score anything in excess of 250, and they can chip in with early wickets with Imamul Haq not being in form, Abdullah Shafi. Probably Abdullah Shafiq and Mohammad Rizwan are the only two batters who have looked extremely comfortable for Pakistan. Apart from that, I don't see anybody else who has been in supreme form. So I think if you can post anything in excess of 250, we saw that Bangladesh crumbled chasing 229 a couple of days back here in Eden Garden as well. So I don't see the dew setting in. Bangladesh have a good, strong pace department. They are in good form, especially Shoriful, the likes of Shoriful Islam and Taskin Ahmed, who
Yeah.
have been really impressive throughout this year. So
Yeah.
I feel that anything in excess of 250 and Pakistan will have to work hard to chase it down.
Absolutely. Just seeing the first ball come from Shaheen Afridi, second ball as well. It looks like a very slow surface. The ball is having a very slow impact onto the bat. The ball, it looks like it's a spongy bounce where the ball is stopping. Jen, that is good sign for Bangladesh in general. Like some Mustafizur Rahman loves these kind of surfaces, and he's someone we've not
Yeah.
spoken about him enough because he's now come good. But conditions like this is what Bangladesh loves playing back, even in Mirpur, and where the ball holds slightly, where you'll have the spongy bounce, and the stroke making is hard.
Yeah, I think you're right about that because he can create a lot of threat, especially I think in the later half of the match, and the fact that they're bowling second will just help the fact that his seam of deliveries also become a little bit more threatening in that early period. But I think issue with him has been that he's really lost his accuracy over the past few years. I think it's also got to do with the fact that the kind of injuries has made it that much more tougher for him to dip that slower delivery that he used to. Before he used to ball at a very quick pace and get dipped on those deliveries, even though he's bowling cutters. I think it's very tough to ball cutters at a certain pace and get the ball to dip on the batter. But for some reason, he was able to get to do that. But then the injuries have really hurt him, so that has really reduced the kind of potency of those cutters. And the fact that in fact, I remember when he had come in initially, he used to ball a very good seam of delivery as well. So it used to be not easy for the batters to estimate what he's going to throw at them. Now he's become a lot more predictable. I think that's also got to do with the fact that he's been analyzed and over analyzed. He's not as much of a threat as before. But I think on his day he can still wreck a team. And I think Kapil has mentioned something here correctly, right? I think if I know Bangladesh are under their own set of pressure, but what they should realize is that this result will matter a lot more to Pakistan than what it'll do to Bangladesh at this point in time. And I'll tell you the reasons why, right? When you look at Afghanistan, when you look at Bangladesh, these are two teams and their fan bases that love winning against Pakistan. Now, I know Pakistan fan base doesn't look at them in the same way they look at India or the Indian cricket team, but they will hate losing to Afghanistan. I mean, Bangladesh, like they hated losing to Pakistan. I mean, rather to Afghanistan. It'll be the same feeling, of betrayal, and Pakistani cricketers will know that more than anything. So if they can put Pakistan cricket, the team under a little bit pressure initially,
Yeah.
it's a very good chance that the Pakistan team will crumble.
I mean,
Also,
the
just
first wicket is
walk me
already
through
got.
the
It's
selection
0 for
process.
1
I mean,
Bangladesh.
Inzam Amul Haq resigned from chief selector spot yesterday, and today we see Imamul Haq getting dropped. I totally, frankly, don't understand this call because, especially from a player's point of view, if you just put yourselves in Imamul Haq's shoe, it is sending a very very wrong signal to a player like Imamul Haq that the board does not support him after all that he has done for Pakistan cricket as well. Imamul Haq, I feel, is one of the best openers that Pakistan have got. I don't rate a Fakhar Zaman higher than an Imamul Haq because rate in terms of consistency, probably X factor is only one element where Fakhar Zaman has that edge over Imamul Haq. But consistency wise, I think Imamul Haq is far, far a better batsman than Fakhar Zaman. So I absolutely don't understand its selection, especially after the chief selector getting, resigning yesterday. This shouldn't have come today. I think if this, ideally going forward, they wanted to drop Imamul Haq, they should have
Yeah.
at least given him this World Cup to get through with his emotions, or probably to understand. It's so confusing for a player like Imamul Haq doing the job for Pakistan for a long time, not being in form for 4 games, getting dropped.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's very interesting because for Imamulak as well, the media was against him, the fans were against him. I think the pressure has led to his drop, and he's not really done great in this World Cup when it comes to him being exponential, or there's been no standout performance from him as well. But can we also say
I mean,
Fakhar
so hasn't
Zaman
Iftikhar Ahmed, right? So why are you not dropping Iftikhar Ahmed with the bat?
I mean,
He
if you
hasn't
talk
done
about
anything.
some ability in terms of match changing, you can say Iftikhar Ahmed holds his cards high up there ahead of an Imamul Haq or anybody in this Pakistan lineup. And he also offers you with the ball, which Imam doesn't.
So they have finally decided to get in a Salman Ali Agha and dropped a Mohammad Nawaz. So I think this is the combination that they should have stuck to earlier in the tournament. But I guess it's too little too
But
late right now.
now the biggest issue is their fifth bowler. I mean, Salman Ali Agha or Iftikhar Ahmed, they're
Yeah.
not your proper fifth bowler. They are like
Yeah,
a
I think
bit
Saud
sneaky.
Shakil, Salman Ali Agha, and Iftikhar Ahmed in this pitch are going to be good options as the fifth bowling option. I think they will bowl more than 10 overs combined.
Interesting. It all depends on various other factors as well because now Bangladesh are one down, 0 for 1, first over. If they can imply a lot more pressure or apply it from a different perspective as to bring in Mohammad Wasim now, get a couple of wickets more, put them under the mat in the first 10 overs, pick up 3 wickets, then you're going to see them operate much more comfortably. But from here on, if Bangladesh get off to a good start with Little Das still being at the crease, and then they're going to be slightly more reluctant to bring in a Salman Ali Agha or Iftikhar for longer spells.
Yeah, I mean, I just go back to what Sandeep Ali also said, right? I mean, I that's exactly what we discussed as well, right, Abel? I mean, we are speaking about how they've gotten two players, I mean, they've gotten now, by removing Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan, they kind of really reduce the quality of spin that this team has, the threat by spin this team has. Now,
Yeah.
Usman Mir has the sole responsibility of being that specialist spinner. And also now you have to you're really banking on an Iftikhar Ahmed to do the job of a second spinner. That's basically what's going to happen on a dry wicket. And the reason it can go really wrong for this, I can totally understand why you've done it. It's also out of necessity. Shadab has not really done well. Mohammad Nawaz has not
Also,
really
Shadab
done
is
well.
injured. Shadab is
I think Shadab is
still
injured as
injured.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
from that, I think it was concussion that happened to him.
yeah.
A bit,
Concussion and a
Concussion.
shoulder
yeah.
injury. Not sure.
Is it also shoulder injury?
I
Yeah.
think the shoulder injury is the main thing because
Is
concussion,
the
I
reason why
don't
this.
feel
I
that
think I
he
think
was.
concussion won't last this long, and I don't think
Yeah.
it was. I don't think it was that bad a fall that the concussion would last for this long. So yeah, I agree. I think
It
it's a shoulder
wasn't that
injury.
bad a fall that he had to bring in a Usama Mir in his place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my point being they've really reduced the quality of spin. But then having said that, I think this does seem a little bit like a panic selection as well, a media-based selection as well, because you've kind of removed the three players that got the most brunt in the media. And while I can still agree why Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan are gonna find themselves tough to be in this team, I think Imamul Haq is not as bad as the media has portrayed him. Like I know people are calling him stat padder and stuff like that, but my point being, the whole team is filled with stat padders. If you look at the only ones who have a strike rate above 100, all of those are ballers. You're in this year, if you look at it, the people who have a strike rate above 100 If there's one batter in that team is Mohammad Harris, but he only has an average of 20, you can't really play him. Or rather, he's got an average of he's got an average of 20. You really can't play him. I know he's only played two
Yeah.
matches, but you've not given him time to prove himself. He's the only one who has an average of 100 and he's a batter. Rest of
Yeah.
I
them,
think
I think
going
okay.
forward, you
There's also
can
Iftikhar.
going forward for Pakistan. I think that is the way to go. Mohammad Harris and Abdullah Shafiq are going to be the openers in the limited overs cricket because I don't see Fakhar Zaman. We'll get to see
Yeah,
today.
Mohammad
I
Harris
think
as
for
well, he's very, very raw, and there's a lot of issues with Mohammad Harris as
they
well when
don't
it comes
have
to
another
Shy
option,
still has
right? Fakhar
problems.
Zaman is not raw, but he still has a lot of issues with the new ball and
No, I
stuff
mean,
like that. He's very yeah.
yeah. I'll give you the list of players, right, who are scoring above 100 strike rate. They're only Mohammad Harris, Usma Mir, Iftikhar Ahmed, Shadab Khan, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Shah Shakil. Everyone else is scoring below 100. And if you look at the likes of your goat, your absolute goat is also striking somewhere very close to the strike rate of Imam ul Haq. I think there's only difference of 2 points between Imam ul Haq. Yeah, Imam ul Haq's strike rate is 81, and the GOAT is striking at 83 this year. So you're telling me you're removing Imamul Haq for what? He's your sixth highest average in the team this year. He's your fourth highest run getter in the team. He's batting as your team wants your batters to bat. So I think at this point you're just generally hating on him because you want a scapegoat, and that's my point, right? It's the three names who have been excluded out of the team. Very good chance two of them are scapegoats.
yeah,
Yeah,
true,
I
true,
understand that
absolutely.
Mohammad Nawaz is a scapegoat as well. I mean, he after the performance that he pulled in last time around and all the memes circulating, bringing back memories of the India versus Pakistan encounter. I understand him getting sacked, but I also feel that to start off with, he is not a good player. I mean, I'm really sorry. He's not even at the level of a Imad Wasim, coming in at number 7, finishing the role with the bat, and then coming with the ball and giving you early wickets or at least taking you through the power play. He is a very defensive bowler who is to come in after the power play, and that was of no use at this point of time in ODI cricket, in modern day ODI cricket. There is no place for a bowler in the middle overs who is just looking to go through his overs without picking up wickets. I think wicket taking ability is something that is being looked upon as one of the most primary asset that the bowler has
Yeah,
right now. Because earlier, if you
absolutely.
see in the 2010s, bowlers used to get away with a good economy in the middle overs. But now,
Yeah,
with the current scenario and with all these games going on to be such high scorers, people chasing 350, 380 odd runs with ease. Now you have the standard of, I mean, the value of wickets have become way more than it was 10 years back. So now
Yeah.
yeah.
people with a bowling average in excess of 35, according to me, does not deserve a place in the ODI team, no matter how good your economy is.
I mean, I still can understand with Mohammad Nawaz, he was offering something with the bat, and Shadab also wasn't really picking up wickets, but offering with the bat. But now, when they are not doing their primary skill well, then you have to think about other things. I think Pakistan picked up the second wicket now, 6 for 2 is what Bangladesh is, and Shanto is also out. So I think this is a good, very good start for Pakistan. I mean, this is a dream start they could have asked for.
Yeah, and the
And I
fact
think
that
today of all days, I think is the day where you would actually require a Shakib Al Hasan to play a captain's knock along with a Liton Das, because I feel this is the sort of pitch where you need a bit of experience and a bit of stability and calmness.
what do
And
you
and
think
I
the
feel
fact that Iftikhar Ahmed is opening the bowling?
Yeah,
That's
he won second over. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's because of the left hander. Shanto came in and they decided to go ahead with Iftikhar Ahmed because Harris Ruff is not a new ball bowler, and Mohammad Wasim Jr. really impressed in the middle overs. I think Mohammad Wasim Jr. going forward is a very good prospect for Pakistan to pick up wickets in the middle overs because he has that aggression like a Harris Ruff, and I mean consistency is still a huge concern because if you don't want him to bowl 8 balls in every over. That has been a concern for him. He strays down the leg side, bowls way outside the off. Consistency is a huge factor. But I feel that he is like Harris Ruff going to give you that wicket taking option. Harris Ruff is
yeah,
not a wicket taking option in middle overs, but I feel Mohammad Wasim Jr. is. And I think if Pakistan can really fold Bangladesh early on, 2 wickets is a dream start for them, like you said. And if they can have one of, say, Shakib Al Hasan or Liton Das early on, I feel the other batters, because they don't have too much batting depth today as well, because there is Ridoy, there is Mahmudullah and Mushfiqur Rahim. So
right.
Bangladesh, unless they are able to post anything in excess of 220, 230, I don't see them really challenging threat or posing a threat to this Pakistani batting lineup.
I mean,
Interesting because yeah, go ahead.
it's good to see Shaheen Shafidi picking up those early wickets. The power play hasn't really been. I think Pakistan's failure also has got to do with the fact that Shaheen has not picked up wickets in the power play. So two in the power play, really good from him. And
But
I
look
think
at the Mushfiqur being promoted to number 4 today.
yeah, I think it's also reaction to the kind of wickets that have fallen. Now they feel like a quality batter is needed to face Shaheen. And but yeah, I mean, congrats Shaheen as well. 100 wicket,
I'll say why Mushfiqur
ODI
Rahim is
wicket.
promoted up the order because I feel that is to not allow Iftikhar Ahmed to continue bowling from the other end.
Yeah. That's a good point as well. Yeah, I think Shakib would
Yeah.
have come in two left-handers, and that's also a reason why. Yeah.
I also think Mushfiqur has got. If you look Shanto and Tanzim Hassan, they are some of the most inexperienced guys. Shanto, I still don't know how he finds to hold his place in this 11. I feel he's one of the most weaker links when it comes to the batting. He doesn't give me any excitement. He does score some of the runs here and there, but doesn't look
And also, I
compact
think
enough. He's
He
Abel,
doesn't
just
look
to
like a player
support
who will
the
play more than 40 runs in an innings, and 40 will be a. Sometimes it feels like 40 is an achievement. The way he.
and
Sometimes the
also
way he
talking about
bats.
Shanto, I think he was the stand-in skipper. So you understand the faith that the Bangladesh team has putting on him. In the game where
I was
Shakib Al Hasan
surprised
missed,
in that
Shanto
match
was
they
the
did not
stand-in
make
skipper.
Mushfiqur Rahim as the stand-in
I
skipper.
think he decided not to be. It's a
Yeah,
case of, Mushfiqur Rahim considers himself the Kohli of Bangladesh cricket. He does not. He considers himself. He has a very high. He holds himself in very high regard, and I
yeah,
think he has a lot of attitude and ego problems as well.
yeah.
Not that
Temporary
Kohli has it.
success. I get it. I get
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but even I thought Mehdi Hassan could be the next skipper as well. They've not looked into him much, but they've gone with Najmul Hassan Shanto,
Shanto
which is
is
very
is predominantly a test player. He has been doing well for Bangladesh in
I
tests
think
at number
he
3.
also has a lot of issues facing pace. I've seen him get into shots way too like late. Like if a quality pacer is bowling at him and he gets rushed very quickly, and I think that's something that is an issue with these young Bangladeshi batters because I think Shakib, Mushfiqur, these are and Mohammedullah, right? These are the only two lads I've really three lads I've only seen come out of Bangladesh who I have not
Yeah.
really seen getting rushed by pacers. I think the rest
correct.
of the talent, batting talent that has come out, that includes, I think even a Tamim, yeah. Tamim Iqbal also in his heydays would never get rushed by pacers. I think Tamim is one of the best batters to come out of Bangladesh against pace
But I
bowling.
think Tamim still had some sort of issue with the short ball early on in his innings. If you
Yeah,
can
I
really ruffle him up early on, I think that was
correct.
a key line to bowl to Tamim.
And the fact that you mention it is a testament to how Bangladeshi batting talent has really struggled against quality paces throughout the history. And that's something they haven't yet figured out. And I think there's been a big obstruction for them to become a dark horse in a tournament to being one of the one of the powerhouses of cricket. And that's one big obstacle for them.
And exactly, and
Absolutely.
I think it is sad from a Bangladeshi point of view that they are still considered dark horses after putting on such great display, say in the mid 2010s.
Yeah,
2015, 2016 were their glory days, and I think it was the golden period of Bangladesh cricket, where most of
absolutely.
their prime players were on form. I think that generation has reached its twilight stage, and the problem is they haven't found proper replacements. I think Bangladesh is another team like Sri Lanka. uh, Sri Lanka at least have faith on the batters that they implement. They chop and change really quickly. The Bangladesh management as well. If you consider the top order batters for Bangladesh over the last 2 or 3 years, once Tamim Iqbal started to get injured, you had a Soumya Sharkar who was then later pushed out to where I don't know, and you had lots of players coming in, opening for 2-3 knocks, and then going away.
Yeah.
Same has been the case with Tanzir Hassan as well. I think he's a very very new player. He's playing his some sixth or seventh ODI game. Apart from that, I think Litan Das has shuffled across the batting positions across years. I think he was coming in at number 4 at some point, coming in at number 3 at some point, then started opening when they haven't didn't really find any replacement for a proper
Yeah.
opener. And I don't see they have any replacement. Okay, Mehdi Hassan Miraz is being touted as the next Shakib Al Hasan, but I think there is this much gap in terms of quality, both with bat and ball. I feel he's not a very good attacking bowler, and with the bat, I think he still has to prove himself. 2 half centuries
Absolutely.
isn't going to cut
But
you
I
out
think
to
he's
be
in
the
the
next
right
cricketer
path
for
as
Bangladesh.
well. When you talk about Shakib Al Hasan comparison, he's on the right path at this point of stage, possibly take on the mantle from Shakib Al Hasan and
Yeah.
possibly
I
even
think right
leading
now he's
Bangladesh
more
in
of a
the
Alok
future.
Kapali than a Shakib Al Hasan. From Alok Kapali to be a Shakib Al Hasan, he'll have to take 5 to 6 years.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. To be Shakib Al Hasan, it takes a long time. He's one of the best all rounders of this generation, not just for Bangladesh cricket. So it's going to take a long while for Mehdi Hasan to possibly fill that boots. But you have to look at an ideal replacement for Shakib. You can obviously pick Mehdi Hasan to do that job in the future. But that's about it from us. Hopefully, you did enjoy the stream. Then do not forget to share and subscribe to our channel, and also click on the like button. That helps with the algorithms. We'll be back today evening for the post match as well. Thank you
I
once
mean,
again,
let's do
guys.
a score predictor, right? How much do you think Bangladesh will manage after 50 overs?
I 240, 250 from here on.
I genuinely think 200 will be a great way, the way they have started. I just feel like now from here Pakistan will just pile it up because now
I'll take the
Shaheen
middle
Khel
load.
is out.
No,
Yeah,
Shaheen
I'll take
Khel
the
I
is
middle
think
load.
it
I
all
think
depends on
285.
Nitin Kumar and Mushfiqur and Shakib how they
yeah.
bat. If they can bat well, obviously 250, 260 is a possibility. It
I
comes
feel
down to
they'll crumble to
The
around
reason I say that
225,
is
230.
because the first 10 overs is where you'll get the most runs on this pitch, especially in the day. And already 4 overs are done. They've only scored 9 runs. I
they've
genuinely
also been
worry.
And also
extremely
Shaheen
tentative.
Shafidi is in some rhythm right now.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
charging up.
more than I think
So I
it's
think
just that
200.
they've been very underconfident, the Bangladesh team at this point. They don't look like they want to score runs. You can see that with their shot making as well. Neither there nor neither here. It's just in the
I
middle at
mean,
this point.
they look like the way they've batted so far. It looks like Basil and Logan Van Beek can run through this team. With their bowling. Just
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Uh,
They
they
did.
did.
Paul Van Meekeren, Baz Delete,
Yeah.
and they did run away through this batting lineup.
absolutely. That's about it. Thank you guys once again. See you all very soon. Bye bye.